Greetings and welcome back. It is summertime, and what I decided here is, well, a couple things. I'm here buying a number of things because I need more seeds and I need more items, and I've decided that I'm going to buy myself out of a lot of situations. In other words, you know, the whole, like, I can produce all these things, but I've got money, and I got money, and I'm gonna definitely want to just kind of not worry about that, right? I was thinking, you know, this whole one of my problems here is that I'm noticing the hard mode is, I don't know if it's really going to be that hard over time. I mean, I don't mean to say that and imply that I'm somehow some amazing person at this game, that this hard mode is going to be nothing. Oh, look at me go, I'm just so amazing, I don't even have to worry about hard mode at all. But more of the idea that I think once things ramp up, it's not going to be that bad. It's just going to be more expensive, but I'm pretty sure I probably already know how to juggle things well. So in a lot of ways, I'm going to be playing this to see how well I can ramp things up and how fast I can ramp things up. What I probably will try to do at some point here is I'm going to commit to not hunting with the bow, because that seems to be a really easy way to make too much money. You saw my video, you know that obviously I know how to make a lot of money off of that real quick. And so I'm thinking that that might be a fair place to start for a little bit more of a challenge, which is, how about not being able to use a bow? Because that's guaranteed easy way to go. So I'm going to be a skirmisher. I'm going to use axes, I'm going to use spears. That's it. That's going to be my combat. Now, I won't be able to make spears for a while, and they're super expensive, which means that that's going to slow me down a bit here, and it's going to make it so that I don't just run around and hunt everything under the sun, right? So we're going to go with that. Now, I have decided that I'm going to drop off some things. Oh, you know what? I got distracted. Too much talking. Too much talking. I was going to go over here, and I was going to build that barn. When you start out in the early game, the fertilizer costs you 6 coins per at Pistovia, which is, you know, doesn't seem like a lot, but manure costs you like 1.6 per, which means if I just buy 2 of them and then go make my own manure, I'm coming out ahead. I also really stand by the idea of, I love buying the logs at the start of the game from Marist Law, because it's just, I don't know, it's quicker, right? I get access to logs fast. It's not expensive considering, and I don't have to chop down a bunch more trees, so it's saving me time. I'm not getting an extraction skill, but hey, that's what it is. Speaking of chopping down trees, one key thing, now that I finally have an axe worth talking about other than stone axes, it's worth thinking about a key tip here, which is when you're going about, and you probably heard this in the last playthrough, or you already know this, but if you don't, your best axe you should use for chopping down the tree. But once it gets to the ground, switch over to something else. For example, let's get ourselves a decent tree here. Alrighty, so with your best axe, you're chopping down your tree. And obviously this iron axe is awesome. Now, as it falls, I've got it on the ground. I'm going to switch to my stone axe because it takes 2 strikes to take this thing apart into logs. And those 2 strikes, it doesn't matter what quality of axe you're using. And it will degrade your axe, though, is the trick. So the reason for switching it like that, and the reason for using the stone axe for the de-sticking part and then the separating the logs part, is to save the durability of your very good axe. Now with the barn done, and I had to chop down a few more trees, I will make 48 fertilizer out of 96 manure, and that will have cost me maybe 3.4 coins per fertilizer. So I'm paying almost half what it costs to get it at the main place. Now, the route I'm taking here is that farming is going to make me money. In the last season, I meant to have a lot more flax planted. Well, I got too busy adventuring and it was fun, and oh well, it's what it is. Then the cabbage that I made is just sitting on the road, you might have seen, and that is there because, you know, it is going to turn into rot, at least for the most part. I have plenty of food for my people at this point, and I'm going to definitely be making a lot of houses. The start of the season is going to be all about let's get it to a spot where we have lots of people so we can get work done. Leaving the cabbage on the ground is going to turn it into rot, and cabbage is heavy, which means it turns into a lot of rot, and that a lot of rot will turn into things that I can actually make into fertilizer as well. I forgot to update y'all on the skills, so instead of taking anything fancy on my first level for farming, I took chance to harvest additional crops, and then I went over and I harvested my cabbages before my before my villager could. Reason for that, of course, is that I want to try to get more seeds and more cabbages for more fertilizer, etc. as we go. And obviously, as I said in the first episode, this is not worth it. Let's see here. Then for this one, let's do Prowler for fun. Why not? I've never done that one before. Let's give it a shot. That and Treasure Hunter are new for me. Let's have some fun with it. Now, one of the things to think about early in the village is the needs for your food and what you want your people eating and not eating. When you click on this for the demand control, you can tell them what they can and what they cannot eat. I don't like my people to eat the fish raw because I plan to fillet them and cook them. Actually, the roach I could care less about. I don't tend to want them to drink the juices because I want to make them into wines and I want to sell them. And I don't want them drinking all my wine because, like, look, that's for money, y'all. What are you trying to do? So this is a great spot where you can make choices on what they can eat and what they can't eat. I don't want them to be eating all my plums and cherries because I'll definitely be making those into things. And then the rest, don't eat rot if you wouldn't mind. And that's just for RP because I don't think it matters. And when you get to the point that you're making honeycomb, it don't matter. You'll be making crazy amounts of things. It won't matter at all. Buckets of milk and soured milk can be a big deal if you want to make cheese. So you might want to slow them down on that one. Otherwise, the big thing for me is, oh yeah, here we go, water needs. I don't want you drinking all my juice. I'm not supposed to make anything. Now, I don't even have any of this stuff, but when I finally do put it in the food storage, I don't want them taking all my stuff. And look at this, you can even have them drinking the blood of the fish for their sustenance. What a hoot. Actually, I don't mind them having apples and honeycomb. That'll be okay. We can do berries one of these days. Although I probably want to make berry wine. Although it takes forever to get to the tavern, so it's what it is. Now here, this I do not like, because I don't want you wasting my logs and planks on firewood. And not sticks either, because that's going to turn into a real problem. This is going to turn this into an issue for them right now, because I don't have enough firewood. That's going to be a recurring problem for us, because the firewood thing is annoying to keep up with, I've discovered. So what I'm going to do here is, since we have somebody who's making logs every day, it's time to do a massive conversion of logs into firewood. And you do need to craft them over here now. As I recall, they changed that. You can no longer just make them. You can no longer just make them in your inventory. Now you have to actually make them here, proper like. I just have a spear and I have an axe. I am no longer carrying the bow, and we're going to go hunt boar. I did, for truth in advertising. It doesn't really fit there. Anyway, for honesty and integrity, I have drank a potion of strength because I don't really want to be gored by boars completely. There we go. Heard some. Oops. Ah, get ya. Ooh, that's a good hit. That was barely anything on me, and I'm getting hit pretty hard for damage. Oh god, the worst part is going to be chasing these things down. Really? Wow, these things take a lot more hits than I thought. Oh my goodness. There we go. One headshot should do a good thing. Wow, that takes a lot longer. 3 shots. I am not going to be taking down bears with a spear this playthrough. That's for sure. One thing that stands out that's going to be hard in this playthrough is going to be the... Oh, this hasn't regened? Interesting. Huh, interesting. I thought that POI would have just respawned. Or spawned a new one. Anyway, the hardest thing for me is going to be hunting birds. Eating birds with spears is going to be awful. I'm going to need a lot of stone spears. That's for sure. Alright, we're trying to sneak up on a moose. Don't say anything. I've been poking it a couple times when I was running because it got confused and was doing weird scripting. So now we're going to see if we can sneak up and poke it. I've already hit it 4 times, but of course it's definitely not even close to dead. Yeah! Right, whatever. I'll take it. That's bizarre. Okay, I guess we're gonna be Ninja Spear Hunter, apparently. Here we are in Clonica. Clonica? Is it really pronounced Clonica? Close enough. And we're going to finish our quest that this... She's always... You want something? Oh no, not again. Alright, the kid thing. Yep, we'll figure it out. Anyhow, so we definitely got ourselves a few boars. The pigeons are a menace. We'll take them down. It's time to flirt more. Huzzah! I made 30 different leather bags, and then look at this. Now we have the smithy. Now I intentionally put it out here to look silly. Actually, I put it out here intentionally so that when I run out, I just click on the anvil and I'm immediately building. Does it look silly right here? Yes. Do I care? A little bit. Not fully. Haven't gotten any new villagers yet, sadly, because I found one 30-year-old woman and I haven't found an 18-year-old guy yet, so I'm still working on that one. But we're getting closer. Alright, here we are nearing the end of summer, and I have not shown parts of the day here since it's been a lot of boring running around back and forth. I have flirted with everybody every day, and I ended up finding some people who would work well in the village. In other words, I found some people who are hugely different in age, so I know that they won't be having babies anytime soon. So now we have a water carrier. This guy, no, I actually need him to finish up on the farming. I also bought a whole lot of pigs because I had money, and I was like, meh, I'm not going to take it with me. And so, so I decided I was buying all the pigs, and I want manure, obviously. So with that, I'm going to go to pigsty, and we're going to press C, or check that box, and press C again to acknowledge it, and then we'll press F, and we'll go and hold down the F key until it's all the way loaded up to max at 100. Boom. And now we're good to go. So now that's going to help us get some fertilizer, and I also decided to put a person here making stone knives. And the reason for this, of course, is that this raises their skill real quick. So our goal for this guy, look at that, he's only been doing this for a day. He's been my farmer for a while, so obviously I'm not feeling great about that use of his skill, and now I've pushed him into doing this. Part of the trick here is that I didn't really have much of an option at the early part. Now, what I should probably do, and I'll keep him on blacksmithing, he's younger, and I do want him to be sure that he's getting that skill bump. This guy, he's going to end up selling stuff and being an extractor, a rotating extractor farmer, which is a handy thing to have. This is another person who can be a rotating extractor farmer, which I find useful. And here, I'll probably have her be a rotating extractor and hunter. And then I'll need somebody for survival. Okay, now I have no money to my name at this point. I mean, as you can see, we're down at 32.4, that is, and that's not the best. So on the way home, I was hoping to find some random stuff. And let's see if we can. But with this low a coin, I also did make a mine. No, I lied. I made the blacksmithy, obviously, as you saw. And we have copper. And we are making things out of copper, which will be handy, as I can now use that as a way to make money, which honestly is probably what I should do. So you may wonder why I'm traveling overland. Well, it's because I'm too poor to take a ride home. So that's exactly why we are traveling overland. Hey, alright, found a little bit of loot. That's cool. Found some ore, found some things. It's a shovel, whatever. And, yeah, found some more loot. Okay, so far, not dead. So, let's see what happens with this moose. Can we be cheesy and catch another moose? Dun, 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 dun. There's no way. Alright, I think we definitely need some stamina potion. I'm not going to be able to chase a moose down with that. And I don't have any spears to throw, which is the real problem here. I don't know why you're standing still, man. I mean, I'll take it, but why are you standing still? Oh. Sorry for the shakiness. It's just, I'm trying to get that hit in. Those birch trees look like people. Crows. Oh, it's gonna be so hard to actually do those quests. Yeah, there we go. Apparently, I'm just gonna make them be sad and pity me. And then they'll just be like, fine, kill me, human. it's probably a little unfair. I'm fighting passive creatures. Maybe I should set a rule that I can only fight creatures that will attack back. Oh, jeez. Found a barrel out here. Oops. Found a barrel right by this birch tree, so that's loot, you know, it's loot. Not bad. Ooh, deep places in the swamp. I do appreciate the idea of they built a village in the swamp, and that one burned down and sank into the swamp. But they didn't build another, so maybe they'll try to rebuild the village here. Who knows? Good old Monty Python references, yeah? I built a castle in a swamp, and that one burned down. So I built another. Oh, look, 2.5 coins. That's a win. Okay, then we'll take the bars. All right, I'm out of here. We're going back home. I made a workshop. Obviously, you can see that right now. Unlocked buckets because, you know, kind of need buckets to keep my people happy with water. And from here, oh, that's what I need to do. I need to go to town to buy animal feed. Instead, we're going to take these things and we're just going to sit them all in the barn. Now, the reason for setting all these things here is that they rot, and they turn into rot based on their weight for next season. So I'll show you what we get out of them by placing them in different locations. The onions are going to be the least impressive, obviously, since they don't weigh a lot. Alright, and then our rot that we had here, we can just toss into the pile. Now, of course, animal feed is expensive, so we're just going to get 5 and call it even for now. No, we get 7 and call it even. Ugh. So that'll be expensive for a little bit. We don't really have the things we need, which is to say oat and rye. Although I could think about getting rye. Now, rye grains, I should do a little digging in on this one. I gotta figure out which one's better to do. To buy the grain straight or to buy the rye and convert it. Am I the kind of village leader that just raided my person's village for some free food? Apparently yes. Apparently yes. Alright, let's get these people some food. Or these animals some food. Oh god, people. Ugh. Alright, and by the way, when you have the pigsty, you can gather manure from it, and that can be a part of you making fertilizer. I need to finish the fields because the other person did not, and that's what's going to happen with the rest of the season. That's really the end of... That is the end of our season for us. So, yay. Okay, here we are at the start of autumn, and I made all of the leather into simple bags, and then I went over to the crafting station to make planks. That way, on the seasonal change, I would have something useful being done. And I planted a couple apple trees, just because, why not? So, here we are at the other side of the season, and I wanted to show y'all, so I'm going to take the flax with, because we didn't do this yet. We haven't actually threshed that out. Yeah, let's do that. And then we got to switch our fields over, so first off, we'll go N, and then we'll go to our fields, and we'll tell people that it is time to max out the rye. And with all the rye, the reason for the rye is, of course, it's just an easy way to get access to flour early on and make money. At this point in the game, it's all about just making the money. Let's see, I'll end up harvesting the fields because I want to gain the skills early on. I want to be able to call my mount, but I want to show you the rot before we start the next episode. Look at that, 820 rot. That was from that stack of cabbages, and the rest of these is nothing to talk about, right? Cool. Well, there we go. Now we've got this big old stack of stuff, and we can make a large collection of fertilizer. 90 fertilizer. Let's see how long this will take. Turns out you can answer your question right here, so I'll show you where I got the information from. The rye grain, it's 2 to 1 basically. For every 7 rye, I'm going to get 14 grain and 7 straw, so it's 2 to 1. Let's price compare. Okay, it costs 72.8 to buy 14 grain. If I buy my rye, it'll cost me 54.6 per 7, which will get me 14 grain. So this is the move. We buy the grain as it is, we buy the rye as rye, and then we thresh it out. Alright, looks like the board's got a few options for me. This has got the best rep on it, 120, but in a lot of coin. The problem is making torches is not cheap. If I recall right, it requires leather, which is not great since I don't really have an easy source of leather, and that might be the point where we start making choices to, maybe it's time to get a hunter set up so we can have a hunter gaining skill over the long period of time. So, I think that might be the next step. I have a problem here too, which is that I have no way to easily get my ranged weaponry if I'm going to make them on my own. I can't be buying a bunch of spears, so I need linen thread soon. I need the, I really need to get, the sewing hut. Oh, I have it. We're done. All right. Alright, y'all, with this, I'm going to close this one up for now, and we'll continue on this episode, or the next episode, in autumn. Take care till next time.